Are you thinking about raising a family here in South Florida, but you don't want the chaos of Miami? You might not even want the hustle and bustle of Fort Lauderdale. Well, these 5 cities near Fort Lauderdale are quiet, fun, and packed with family-friendly activities that everyone loves without sacrificing on the South Florida lifestyle. And I'm talking cities with everything from the top-rated schools, obviously most important, great parks and outdoor activities, shopping and dining, and probably second most important, also not too far away from the water, because we live in South Florida in the Fort Lauderdale area. Still want to go on the boat on the weekends, and I still want to be able to enjoy the beach. And these cities have a great mix of everything, from cities with great gated communities and golf course communities like that of Parkland, cities that could maybe be considered a college town like that of Davie, and even cities with a great balance of everything like that of Coral Springs. And if you stick around to the end, we're also going to talk about the #1 city in South Florida for families that some people often overlooked, and I don't want you guys to miss out. And real quick, if you and your family are thinking about making the move to South Florida, but you're not quite sure which area is right for you, my team and I would love to be your real estate resource of choice. You can call us, text us, email, whatever's easiest for you, we got you. But now let's jump into the cities. So first up on the list, we have Parkland. And Parkland's very different from every other city on this list. And that's for one main reason. Parkland could be somewhat considered rural, well, at least by South Florida standards. Now don't get me wrong, Parkland does have normal neighborhoods where you can see your neighbor, it's a gated community, it's a suburb like anything else. But then they also have areas where you get quite a bit of land. So if you want some toys like 4-wheeler, dirt bike, or you just don't want to see your neighbors, you can do that. If you're into equestrianism, you can do that because most people do have horses out in Parkland. And if you want to have a nursery on some of your land, you could also do that in Parkland. You can't do that in any of these other cities. Now, I think we need to talk about the location first. So Parkland is in Broward County on the northern end, just south of Boca. You're about 30 to 40 minutes from both the beach as well as downtown Fort Lauderdale. And there's 2 real main reasons why families absolutely love Parkland. #1 is the schools, obviously. So Niche does give us an A- rating, with some of the best schools here in Parkland being that of Pine Trails Elementary, Westglades Middle, and that of Stoneman Douglas High School. Now, those are all public schools, yes, I know. In terms of the private schools, pretty much all these cities kind of share the same private schools, and those schools are like that of St. Andrews, North Broward, American Heritage, both the Plantation and the Del Rey campus. We have Pinecrest, Cardinal Gibbons, Westminster Academy, St. Thomas Aquinas, and U School or the Nova School. And those are pretty much all the schools private-wise, and Sagemont, I'm sorry, that people really send their children to. So that's gonna be kind of blanketed across all the cities that we talk about. Now, the #2 reason that families absolutely love it are the parks. We have some great parks here in Parkland as well as outdoor activities. So like we said before, if you're into equestrianism, you can do that here in Parkland. I think there's only one other city we're gonna talk about today where you really can. Besides for that, we have Terramar Park, Barkland, which is a pretty cool name. Think about it. Barkland for the dogs, dog park. Yep, okay, I get it, I'm a nerd. But we also have Pine Trails Park. And I feel like at some point, everyone growing up here in the South Florida, Fort Lauderdale area might have played soccer at Pine Trails Park at one point. And now they have a lot of different sports there. They have lacrosse, which I'm kind of jealous we didn't have growing up. There's also like the jungle gym area in the middle. There's a little amphitheater, the basketball courts. There's really something for everyone. Now, I will say the one area that Parkland's kind of slacking on is the restaurants. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some great restaurants still, but nothing like some of these other cities that have plenty of different options. But Parkland does have a restaurant that's one of my favorites and actually one of my brother's favorites as well, and that's Los Bocados, which is a Mexican restaurant that actually started off in a gas station and now has their own standalone store. So it just goes to show you like how good it is that they moved out of the gas station, actually right next door to it, but it's pretty damn good Mexican food. Now, in terms of the real estate here in Parkland, like we said before, you can do non-HOA communities. You can also do an HOA community. And some of those great neighborhoods that people absolutely love here in Parkland are like that of the Parkland Golf and Country Club, where if I moved to Parkland, that's probably where I would pick to live. Parkland Bay, Heron Bay, as well as Parkland Isles. And in terms of the price point here in Parkland, our average sales price across single family condos and townhomes is right in between $1.1 to $1.2 million, which is on the higher end of the cities that we're talking about today. Next up, we have the city with everything under the sun, and honestly, this could be the best one. Completely unbiased because it's not like I grew up there or anything. And that city is Coral Springs, Florida. And honestly, Coral Springs is a great city with, like I said, everything under the sun. And growing up there, I definitely didn't think it, but now, like a little bit older and looking back, kind of looking at all the different cities, you could really see it. So let's start off with the location. So Coral Springs, just south of the Parkland, also in Broward County, about the same distance, about 30 to about 35 minutes to both the beach and downtown Fort Lauderdale. And the reason that people love Coral Springs is for the outdoor activities. I mean, there seems to be endless activities here in Coral Springs. Whether you're going to the Iceplex, which technically is an outdoor, so that's kind of defeats the purpose. We have plenty of great dog parks, Mullins Park, which has baseball, football, basketball, everything you want to do there. Cypress Park, Betty Stradling Park, the Sawgrass Trailhead. If you want to go out there, go fishing, go for a bike ride, go for a run. I'm telling you, there's really something for everyone. And I will say, and I will put the argument out there, that I think some of the best athletes come out of Coral Springs. Because it's like when you go to high school out east, because for example, I played football, so I went to Gibbons in Westminster. And it's like everyone who played sports lives out west in Coral Springs. Same thing with St. Thomas, Heritage, some of these other schools. Like everyone lives in the Coral Springs area. I'm just saying. But in terms of the schools, Niche does give us a B+ rating. And one of the best schools across elementary, middle, and high school that they give the rating to is that of Coral Springs Charter. Now we do have some other great schools like that of Coral Springs High, Coral Springs Middle. We have Westchester Elementary, which my brother went to, as well as Coral Glades High School. Now, in terms of other things, I will say Coral Springs really does have great shopping and dining, especially along University. You'll see that there's everything that you could want, both on the food side, like we have a lot of stuff that moved out from Fort Lauderdale. We have some great Italian spots. Taco Craft opened up right here near the walk. And we actually have a top 5 restaurant in the entire country, Arun's Indian Kitchen. If you've never tried it or you've never tried Indian food, you have to go. It's out of this world. The gravy, top tier. I will say they don't give you enough chicken, but I'll cook up some chicken, just throw it in the gravy. It's that good. On top of that, we really do have every grocery store that you could want. We have Costco, Sam's Club, BJ's, Publix, Whole Foods, Fresh Market, Doris's Italian Market. There's really something for everyone in terms of Wild Fork. Like there's really everything here in Coral Springs, which is a really nice thing. And then in terms of the real estate here in Coral Springs, I will say this is where we differ a little bit from Parkland. Number one, nowhere near as rural, but we do have more condos and townhomes, it seems, along with some great single family homes. And there's a good mix of both HOA and non-HOA communities. Some of the top neighborhoods and most sought after ones are like that of Maplewood Isles, Maplewood, Eagle Trace, Coral Springs Country Club, the Isles and Venetian Isles, West Glen. There's a lot of great options in the Coral Springs area for everyone. And on top of that, our median price or our average sales price is only right around $600,000. Okay, I know we say we're only gonna talk about 5 cities, but now we're gonna talk about 6 because I wanted to add this city in because I think it's important. And that city is Plantation. Plantation is very similar to Coral Springs because it's highly sought after for the outdoor activities and the parks. On top of that, I will say maybe the location is a little bit better than that of Coral Springs because you can be to downtown Fort Lauderdale in about 20, 25-ish minutes, depending on where you live in Plantation. On top of that, you're only about the same distance to the airport and even the beach, which is a huge thing. But when it comes to life in Plantation, I will say there is a little bit better golf than that of Coral Springs. So if golf's your thing, definitely Plantation's a spot for you. When it comes to the schools, I will say Niche does give them a B+ rating. But the big thing with the schools is obviously you have like that of Plantation High, which is the big one. But the big thing in Plantation is that of American Heritage with their Plantation campus. Not only do they have exceptional academics, but they are also an absolute powerhouse when it comes to sports, especially football. They are constantly churning out guys both into the college level as well as the NFL level, with some notable alumni like that of Sony Michel, Isaiah McKenzie, Brian Burns, and even Pat Surtain. So as you can tell, they're a freaking powerhouse and they constantly win states as well. Now, on terms of parks and outdoor activities and things to do, we have some great parks like that of Treetops Park, Sunset Park, where I actually play flag football. I know, Joe, you're a grown adult. Like, dude, I gotta go out there and get something done. It's a ton of fun and something to do, gets you active. There's some other great parks as well. But I will say, the nice thing is, if you don't wanna go and do that, you can go to the beach fairly quickly as well. Now, in terms of the shopping, dining, and entertainment, very similar to that of Coral Springs, right along University and Plantation. You have everything that you could want. And very similar, they have a lot of similar things moving out west from Fort Lauderdale. One place you do have to go and check out is that of Plantation Walk, which has things like another Taco Craft. They have a burgers with that of Ford's Garage, Italian food. I believe there's a gym there too. I think it's a UFC Fit. Plus there's plenty of other gyms all around as well here in Plantation. You have Amped, LA Fitness, Retro Fitness, not too far away, Sawgrass Fit. I mean, there's a lot of different gyms, which I'm kind of jealous of. Now, when it comes to the real estate here in Plantation, very similar to that of Coral Springs, a good mix of single family condos and townhomes, and honestly an average sales price right around the same too, right around $600,000. And I will say people absolutely love the neighborhoods as well. So you can do both HOA as well as non-HOA communities. So some of the premier communities are like that of Jacaranda and Hawks Landing, but also Plantation Acres, where you can get a little bit more room and a little bit more house than you would say in that of Coral Springs, but still not that much room like that of Parkland. Next up, we have a city that really flies under the radar, and that's Weston. And Weston flies under the radar, I think, mostly because of the location. So Weston's located just south of Plantation, actually south of 595, and west of 75. So you're probably like, ooh, Joe, Weston's kind of out there, man. It's actually not that bad though. So you're only about 30 to 40 minutes to downtown Fort Lauderdale, so very similar to the other cities. Maybe about 40-ish minutes to the beach, because you could hop right on 595 and rip it out there. And I will say the big draw to living in Weston is the parks, especially if you play sports like that of baseball or soccer. I knew quite a bunch of people growing up who were baseball players, did travel baseball. There's a lot of great places to work out over there, batting cages, things like that, especially that of Weston Regional Park. So you'll always see people, especially when the travel sports season, like a lot of people over there play baseball, which is really cool, but we don't have that in like Coral Springs, or even Plantation, Parkland. Like, yes, there are baseball players, but it's not seen as a way of life like it seems like in Weston. Same kind of thing with soccer. Now, I will say Weston does have an A rating when it comes to the public schools, like that of Falcon Cove Elementary and Cypress Bay High School. Now, I will say a lot of people flip-flop sometimes between Cypress Bay and Flanagan, mostly depending on sports. And then when it comes to the shopping, dining, and entertainment, this is where Weston actually really shines. So Weston does have Weston Town Center, which not only has a Publix, but it really has everything you can need right there. Whether you're going to GNC, you get an ice cream, a quick bite to eat at Carrot Express, a sit-down dinner at Graziano's, one of the best burgers in all of South Florida at La Berea Burger, and they're actually undergoing quite a bit of development as well to really transform all of Weston Town Center. Not to mention, Weston actually has one of the highest rated hospitals and hospital systems in all of Florida, with that of Cleveland Clinic. So that's a really nice thing. Now, when it comes to the real estate here in Weston, it is a little bit more expensive than some of the other cities, with their average sales price being right around $900,000, and some of the highly sought after neighborhoods being that of Windmill Ranch Estates, Isles at Weston, and even Country Isles. And most of the communities here in Weston are gated or HOA communities. However, there are a few that are not. Next up, we have Davie, which could be considered a college town because technically Nova Southeastern's there. So it's college town, and it's very similar to that of Plantation, I will say. Great location. You're also in Broward County. This time you're south of 595 and south of Plantation. However, you kind of share a lot of the similarities: parks, neighborhoods, golf, things like that. People go back and forth. You're about 15, 20 minutes to downtown Fort Lauderdale, about 20-ish minutes to the beach. So that's a really nice thing. And I will say Davie, very similar to Parkland, does have a bit of equestrianism mixed in, because you do get a little bit more land in certain parts, especially as you get into southern Davie, closer to like the Cooper City, Pembroke Pines area. So people really enjoy that. And there's also a western part of town, like the old town Davie looks like a western town. Like, it doesn't look like it fits in all of South Florida at all. It's pretty cool though. They also have the Bergeron Rodeo grounds here, and you can go to the rodeo. So something completely different from life in like that of Fort Lauderdale, for example, or even Parkland. Now, when it comes to the schools here in Davie, they do get a B+ rating, with the top one being that of Nova Middle and Nova High School. Also, Western High School, people opt to send their children to. Very similar though, a lot of people actually do go to American Heritage because it's right there. Now, I will say the really nice thing about Davie, since it is a college town, you have everything. Like that of Coral Springs, which has pretty much every grocery store. Same thing with that of Davie. Even more restaurant options. They even have a Flanagan's right next to a Twin Peaks. So you can go Flanagan's, Twin Peaks, Chipotle's right there as well. There's a Tap 42. Chicken Kitchen's right across the street. Honestly, I'd go to the Chicken Kitchen between you and I, or probably Flanagan's. So as you can see, a lot of great mix of things to do in restaurants. In terms of parks, probably the go-to one has to be that of Vista View Park. I like Vista View Park because I remember running the hill in high school. We still go out there and run the hill because it's just a great overall workout. But you share a lot of the same parks with that of Plantation. Some people even go out to Brian Piccolo, a little bit further south, which is technically Pembroke Pines, and we play flag football there as well. It's a great time. Now, in terms of the real estate here in Davie, a little bit better price point than that of Weston for sure. So our average sales price is $675,000. And we do have a good mix of HOA and non-HOA communities, with some of the top neighborhoods being that of Robbins Park, Westridge, Imagination Farms, and even Flamingo Gardens. And last but certainly not least, we have probably the #1 city for families in the Fort Lauderdale area, and that's Boca. And I know what you're thinking. A lot of people probably think Boca's for retirees. They're people from up north in New York. Hey, they retire, they come down here, they're relaxing on the beach, they're playing golf, when in reality, Boca is actually so much more than that. Well, #1, it's one of the largest cities that we're talking about. So in terms of location, Boca's on the south end of Palm Beach County, just north of Parkland. And it runs all the way from the beach and the water, all the way west to the Everglades. And the huge draw to Boca, not only the schools and the things to do, but it's also the overall atmosphere. You can tell the minute that you step foot into Boca that you're in a completely different area. It just feels different. There's no billboards, there's no car dealerships. It just has a more luxurious type feel to it. It's like you took Parkland and then bumped it up maybe 10 or 15 steps. That's the best way to describe it. So in terms of the schools here in Parkland in Boca, Niche does give us a rating, with Meisner Elementary being one of the top elementary schools, Spanish River Middle and High School, as well as Boca High being some of the best middle and high schools. On top of that, we do have some great private school options right around because St. Andrews is here. Now, I will say, like we talked about before, the things to do in the parks here in Boca are pretty much unmatched. You have Sugar Sands Park and plenty of normal parks, but you also have things like the beach with Red Reef Park, and Spanish River Park right there, so you can enjoy both like exploring, walking, hiking, trails, as well as the beachside, kayaking. And that's the really nice thing. And what I really like about Boca is because you can live on the water, enjoy everything that the beachfront has to offer. You can do everything out east, and then you can also, if you're more of a golfer, live in a membership community or a golf course community. So there's really something for everyone. And I will say the biggest difference between Boca and some of these other cities are some of the neighborhood options. So when it comes to the real estate here in Boca, our average sales price is $1.1 million. However, there's a good mix of everything. So you have beachfront condos, waterfront townhomes, single family homes. Then we have 55 plus communities. We also have golf course communities. And if you're unfamiliar with what a golf course community is, for example, let's say you found the perfect home in Boca, $475,500. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath, right? Just under 2,000 square feet. Like, this is a steal. I'm gonna live in Boca for this. Then you look at it, it's actually in a membership community like that of, for example, Broken Sound, which is unbelievable golf and social. But if you don't golf, it makes no sense because you do have to pay a one-time capital contribution, plus your annual golf, social, or old golf dues, plus your HOA dues. So if you golf, by all means, it makes 100% sense, plus the networking. But if you don't, maybe a different neighborhood is more for you. Now, in terms of the best neighborhoods in Boca, that one's tough to say because it really depends on what you like. So if you have questions on it, definitely shoot me a text or an email. Would love to help you out, but it's just hard because there's so many different options compared to some of these other cities. And ultimately, I really don't think you can go wrong with any of these cities. If you want to live on the beach, live on the water, maybe also have golf and have some of the best schools, then maybe Boca's for you. If you want a little bit more land, also great schools and some parks, Parkland's gonna be the option for you. If you want a great balance of everything, while also having some great parks, Coral Springs. If you want to be a little bit more secluded, some great parks, good schools, plenty of great food options, then it might be Weston. If you want golf, parks, but also great proximity to Fort Lauderdale, then it sounds like Plantation might be the option for you. Now, if you like everything that Plantation has offered, but you want a little bit more equestrianism, or maybe even a little bit more land, then Davie is going to be the city for you. And I know that sounds kind of abbreviated, but that's kind of the best way to lump each one of these cities. So let me know in the comments down below, if you had to pick one of these cities to raise a family here in South Florida, which one would you pick? And if you and your family are looking to make the move here to South Florida and you have questions and or you need help, my team and I would love to be your real estate resource of choice. You can call us, email, text us, whatever's easiest for you, we got you.